2026. We do have a public hearing and an informational hearing, so we will begin our hearing with the Pledge of Allegiance. Julianne, could you lead us in the pledge, please? All rise. Okay. Could we take the roll, please?
Patrick Halpin.
Present.
Julianne Nolan. Present. Gerald O'Neill.
Present.
Ed Wynn.
Present.
Juan Leon. Where is Juan?
Juan is not here.
Oh.
Okay.
Frank Santos. Dan Tushin.
Present.
Greg Rexiola. Matt Esposito. And Rich Casey.
Okay, do we have a quorum?
Yes.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Before we begin the public hearing, I'm required to read this statement into the record. The planning board shall have the right to rely on any information that is presented by the applicant. If any such information is later found to be inaccurate or incorrect, the planning board may determine that any approvals, building permits, or other actions previously granted in connection with the application are null and void.
A, public hearing, site plan review, change of zone, job HPLN-36, 25-27 AE, Stanley Gilpin. Applicant is seeking a change of zone from B residence/E business to B residence in order to construct a two-story, single-family dwelling along with associated site improvements.
Okay. Who's here on behalf of the client?
Good evening, Mr.
The
Chairman,
applicant, rather? Go ahead.
members of the board. For the record, Nicole Blanda. I'm an attorney at Bazell, Blanda, Visconti, with offices at 535 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
Okay. Have you had the opportunity to review the memorandum from Denise Graziano, the Commissioner of Planning and Development, dated April 7th regarding this application?
Yes.
Are there any issues, any concerns, anything that you'd like to bring to the board's attention regarding any of the conditions or the covenants and restrictions?
No concerns, no issues. We
So there-
consent to all of the conditions and we consent to all the covenants.
Okay, please proceed. Thank you.
I'm here tonight on behalf of the property owner, Stanley Gilpin, who's seeking a recommendation for a change of zone from Business E/Residence B to a full Residence B site, as well as site plan approval in order to construct a new two-story, single-family dwelling on this property. The property is located on the northeast corner of Gilbert Place and Overland Avenue in Amityville. It is split zoned, with the majority being Business E, but there is a small sliver of Residence B. It's presently vacant. It has a lot area of 7,520 square feet and a street frontage of 60 feet on Gilbert Place. This lot is single and separate, meaning that it was not held in common ownership subsequent to the enactment of the zoning code, and therefore it's going to enjoy the benefits of some lower zoning requirements. So for example, rather than being required to have 80 feet of frontage, as is usually required in the Res B zone, we're allowed to have 60 feet of frontage on Gilbert. Same with lot area. So we're intending on doing this application entirely without variances. So the only thing we would need is the recommendation and the site plan approval from this board, and then ultimately the change of zone from the town board. So the application is to construct a two-story, single-family dwelling. We have 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and an internal garage, as well as a basement. There would be mechanicals, utilities, washer, dryer in the basement area. And then on the first floor, we'd have our foyer, our living room, dining room opening into the kitchen, powder room, pantry, closet, and as such, and also you can get into the internal garage that way. And then on the second floor, we'd have 3 bedrooms plus the master bedroom with the master bath, walk-in closet, and then another full bathroom for the other 3 bedrooms, as well as a linen closet on the second floor. The house has gone under several revisions in an effort to avoid a building area variance. So originally there was a larger front porch. We now have a smaller, I can't even call it a porch anymore, but they're calling it a porch. In order to comply fully with the zoning code. We are also proposing a 6-foot white PVC fence along the rear property line, as well as the east and west sides only up to the front of the house, and a 5-foot landscaped buffer along the rear property line and the east side property line, where we would have single-row, 8-foot-high evergreens. All utilities are readily available to the site. The rest of the block on Gilbert, going from Overland to Bayview, has dwellings on both the north and the south sides. So as the board can see, to the north of us, you have commercial properties along Sunrise Highway. But then as you come south where we are and you go further south, you're in a residential neighborhood. So even though this lot is currently zoned Business E, it just wouldn't make sense to have some kind of commercial use on this property, nor do I think the surrounding neighbors would want that. This house will be entirely in character with the surrounding area, and I think would fit right in, be a nice little home here. And as I said, the owner agrees to all the covenants, single family, owner occupied, no accessory apartment, et cetera. And we'll have some nice landscaping as well in the front. There'll be a berm and some more trees. There's actually, I think, just over 5,000 square feet of landscaping on this lot, so it'll definitely be a positive upgrade to what the board sees out there today. So if the board has any questions, I'm happy to answer, but that's basically the presentation.
Do any of the board members have any questions regarding this application? No? So just so I'm clear, are there any variances being sought from the zoning board? Because you did mention the distinction because of the split zones.
Once it's rezoned to Res B, we're going to take advantage of the single and separate status, and we won't be required to get any variances.
Okay. So why did you change the porch on the front?
Because it was going to kick us into a building area variance, unfortunately. And it just didn't feel it made sense to go to the zoning board for a porch. And the zoning board doesn't like to give out building area variances these days, so, you know.
Right. Well, we're the planning board, so
I know.
that is their prerogative. Although porch is nice. Anyway, they have a nice backyard. Looks like they've got a pretty good
They'll have a nice open space, yeah,
nice
in the
open
backyard.
space there. All right, fair enough. Okay, again, Jerry?
Yeah. Speaking of the backyard, is there any reason why they wouldn't consider some of the plantings for the west side up at the north end? Because diagonally across from the backyard is one of the commercial spots from,
Right, there's an auto
Sunrise.
body shop.
yeah. So, I mean, a good portion of that yard is going to be exposed to that commercial spot. And he's got a line of trees against the residential neighbor as opposed to the street side.
I don't think they'd be unwilling to put some more
I'd
plantings.
like to suggest that.
Yeah, if you'd want that. But there'll also be the 6-foot-high fence as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public here that would like to address the board regarding this application? No? Okay. So I'm going to request a motion from the board to close the hearing into reserved decision. Let's see, motion by Jerry,
Motion?
a second by Ed.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. So the public
Thank you.
hearing has now been closed. The decision, though, has been reserved, and if there are any other issues that might need to be reviewed or to get feedback regarding any open site issues, the record will remain open for written comments. For anyone to follow up on the status of the application or to submit written comments, you can contact the planning department a number of different ways. In person, planning is located on the west wing of Babylon Town Hall. Application documents and plans are available for inspection between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. or by phone, 631-957-3103, or via email, planningcomments@townofbabylonny.gov. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you too.
Public hearing, informational hearing.
Okay,
Can we go forward?
go ahead.
Okay. B, informational hearing, site plan review, Plan Industrial Park. Job HPLN-24, 25-48AJ, SM, New York, QRS 14-19, Inc. Demolish a portion of an existing building and repurpose of existing building to allow for manufacturing and warehouse distribution to accommodate 4 tenants along with associated site improvements.
All right. Okay, you have one? What's this, same thing? Okay.
I'll need one just for the record. Thank you.
All right, counsel, please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Chairman Halpin, members of the board. I'm Keith Brown on behalf of the applicant from the law firm of Sir Tillman, Ballin, Adler, and Hyman, LLP, located at 90 Merrick Avenue, 9th floor, East Meadow, New York. I'm here on the site plan application that seeks to repurpose the existing warehouse building located at 1000 New Horizons Boulevard in North Amityville and make...
Hold on for just a
Sure.
second. I apologize.
That's
A lot of paperwork going around here.
A lot of paperwork. Before you start your presentation, we have a memo dated the 2nd of April, 2026, from Denise Graziano, the Planning Commissioner of Planning and Development regarding this application. This is a memo to the Planning Board. Does your client have any issues regarding any of the conditions or any of the, hold on, there are a whole series of conditions here. Any of the covenants and restrictions?
There was one issue, Mr. Chairman, and first I want to thank the planning staff for all their hard work on this application. We've been going at it back and forth for better part of 9-10 months now to arrive at the site plan that you're about to see. So I just want to bring your attention to conditions 19 and 20 contained in that staff report that you referred to regarding the land bank parking. Our position is that the 97 built-out parking stalls will adequately accommodate the parking demand at the site. In the event that the end user does not occupy the entire facility, the site plan provides enough flexibility since the facility can accommodate up to 4 tenants, and that's the application we're presenting tonight and we're going in front of the town board for. If the need arises, additional land bank parking stalls are provided throughout the site and can be built out to accommodate an end user with an above average parking demand, but we're not anticipating that. And the traffic report that was submitted on behalf of the applicant done by Mr. Ethan Chikoski, who's going to be here tonight, can more than adequately justify that.
All right, fine. Well, in your presentation, if you don't mind pointing out to us the areas that have been land bank for that purpose.
Sure.
For
And
complete-
there's multiple and there's plenty of it, so happy to. So as I was saying, the applications for the warehouse building currently located at 1000 New Horizons Boulevard, North Amityville, and we're making site improvements, dividing the current warehouse and repurpose for warehouse, office, and distribution use at the subject property. With me tonight is Mr. Ryan Hurd, the Vice President of WP Carey, the owner of the property for the last 26 years. He's in the second row to my far right. And TJ Wilkinson, PE.
Oh, he's not 26 years owner.
No, he's owned it. WP Carey has owned it for 26 years.
Oh, okay, because he just turned 26, looking at that. Over there. Okay, please proceed.
TJ Wilkinson in the front row to my right of Bowler, the project engineer. Behind him, the aforementioned Mr. Ethan Chikoski of TPD Engineering, our project traffic engineer. And for the record, on April 1st of this year, our office submitted the following documents in further support of the application. Those are the documents I just handed out before we got started. A color site plan prepared by Bowler, an aerial plan prepared by Bowler, renderings prepared by BLD Architecture, a parking report prepared by TPD Engineering, and a certificate of occupancy number 76341 dated July 6th of 1982 when the building was originally constructed. By way of background, the property is zoned in the PIP 1 district. The subject parcel is a total lot area of 17.257 acres or 751,731 square feet, which far exceeds the minimum lot area requirement of 1.5 acres to develop or alter any buildings in the underlying PIP-1 district pursuant to Town Code 213-319. Regarding the character of the area, the subject property is located in an area where pattern development includes other industrially and commercially used parcel. It's all part of the Horizons Industrial Park that you see on the screen in front of you and on the aerial that I'm looking at. The surrounding parcels to the south, east, and west are also zoned PIP-1. To the north of the property are smaller parcels zoned in the G Industry and E Business districts. To the north of the site, there's industrial development, including Thermo King, a transportation service, and LEB Electric, an electronic installation service. To the west of the property, across New Horizons Boulevard, is Calico Cottage, a manufacturer. Abutting the property to the east is an electric motor repair shop, Babylon Electric Motors. An industrial use parcel is also located to the south of the property. With regard to existing conditions, based on our review of the town records, the existing building at the property attained a CO in 1982, permitting the site to be used for manufacturing and office space. Currently, the property is improved with an approximately 235,000 square foot building that until recently was leased to JKN Aerospace Monitor, an aerospace supplier. In existing conditions, loading docks are provided on the north side of the building. There are approximately 291 on-site parking stalls. Site access is currently provided via one full movement driveway along southbound New Horizons Boulevard. Of note, the application will not change the longstanding industrial use of the property, nor the established industrial or commercial character in the surrounding area. This afternoon, we're requesting site plan approval from the Town Planning Board to renovate the existing building and make associated site improvements at the property. This project is consistent with the town zoning code, as warehousing, office, and distribution uses are all permitted in the PIP-1 zoning district. This application is also in character with the established industrial land uses in the surrounding area. It should also be noted that the property is well suited to support warehousing and distribution, as the subject site has a total of 17.257 acres, far exceeding the minimum 1.5 that I mentioned. Given the substantial size of the property, the site plan is designed to provide more than enough area for the warehouse and distribution use, as well as to provide for ample parking, landscaping, and screening along its property lines, which will be discussed by our team of experts. With respect to compliance with dimensional requirements of the PIP zoning district, we note that the subject property is well suited for the use as it complies with all the town dimensional requirements as it relates to the overall lot area and street frontage. Further, the warehouse building complies with all town code dimensional requirements for property setbacks, building coverage, and building height. We note that relief from the zoning board will be requested for the number of parking stalls and loading stalls, for front yard parking, and for landscape and impervious coverage areas. A request to permit multiple tenants at the facility has been made to the town board, which we anticipated to be decided in the next couple of weeks. So with that as a background, I'd like to introduce our first witness, Mr. Ryan Hurd from WP Carey. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Ryan Hurd, H-E-A-R-D.
Sir, please again state your name and address for the record, Brian.
Yep, name is Ryan Hurd.
Sorry, Ryan.
Address 395 9th Avenue, New York, New York.
Please proceed.
Yep, so like Keith mentioned,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
yes.
Please proceed.
Like Keith mentioned, my name is Ryan, Vice President of Project Management, WP Carey. This building was originally built in 1982. We purchased it in the year 2000 and have owned it ever since. For the past 24 years, really 34 years, going back to since before we owned the building, the tenant who was in there was a single tenant named GKN, who was primarily a manufacturer of aircraft parts. They began moving out of this building about 2 years ago. As of today, the building is completely vacant. All their equipment is out. All their employees have stopped working out of this facility. I should clarify too, just a little background information about WP Carey before I start talking about the building. We are an industrial net lease REIT. We own about 1,000 buildings across the country. While our offices are in New York City, our portfolio is really spread out. The majority of them are industrial type buildings, much like the one we're talking about here today. We are long-term holders of real estate. Our business model is to buy buildings, own them for decades. Our average lease term with tenants is above 10 years. So, we really want to own these properties for decades, continue to reinvest in them, and continue to bring new tenants in. While it is unfortunate that GKN has decided to leave the building, we are looking to reinvest some capital in here to get this building fit for a few or single tenants to come in here. I'll talk a little bit about this kind of 4-tenant strategy that you guys can see up here on the site plan. This building is 200,000 square feet, 230,000 if you add in the office area that we're going to be demoing out. The majority of tenants who are currently in this market range between 15,000 and 100,000 square feet. If you go and look at all the deals done in Suffolk County over the past 2 years or so, there are few and far between that are done more than 100,000 square feet. So our intent here is to kind of get this building set up to be occupied by multiple tenants. The majority of the buildings in our portfolio are single tenant users, and we'd love to have a single tenant in this building. We're just not quite sure what the odds of that are. So we're doing a couple things here to give us some flexibility, whether we get 1, 2, 3, or even 4 tenants in the building. Currently, there isn't a whole lot of loading in the property, so we're going to be putting in new loading docks at the front and the rear of the building, which currently do not exist. And you can see we've spaced them out so that way, if we get tenants who take the south or the north face of the property, any tenant moving in will have access to the loading docks regardless of where they are. I mentioned too before that we currently have an office structure. That's the partial demo that's mentioned in our application. There's about a 30,000 square foot donut-shaped structure in the southeast corner of our property. This is a very dated office building, low ceiling height, old finishes, really dense floor plates, and an office size of 20 to 30,000 square feet, frankly, isn't needed by most modern day tenants who are looking to have small office space but larger warehouse space. So we will be demoing out that structure, reduces the amount of office space we have, and also makes our floor layout more functional. The last thing I'll touch on too is this access
Hold on, can you
drive.
go back to the plan to show us? Can we move that up so we can see the area that he just referenced where the offices are? Okay. All right, so that's where the parking is. Sorry, please proceed.
Yep.
Thank you.
I do want to talk quickly too about the land bank stalls that were mentioned before by Keith. If you could go back to the new site plan, the way we've laid this building out again is to have 1, 2, 3, or 4 tenants. In the dotted areas in the northeast, northwest, southwest, and southeast corner, all those parking stalls there are the ones we're planning to land bank. In the event that we land a tenant who needs access to one of those areas, our plan is to pave those land bank stalls. If we get a single tenant building or a 2-tenant building, we might not need all of those stalls. So the land banking plan really here is so that we're future-proofing this property for any of the different tenant scenarios we can get without committing to putting any more parking than what we need at this moment. And then the last thing I'll touch on too is the access drive. Currently, there's a single point of access to this building. The access drive, which starts on New Horizons Boulevard and goes into the northeast corner of the site we're proposing to be new. That will give us full truck circulation. This is something that's a lot of times required by a lot of modern Class A tenants. And in the event that we multi-tenant this building, it's really critical that we get some direct access to those loading areas in the rear of the building. I'll pause right there. Any questions from the board?
Do any of the board members have any questions? Juan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Speaking about the flow of this with trucks and loading docks, can you just take the board through a simulation of how a truck would enter this property and go into the loading dock and then exit?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say you're coming in and you want to use the docks on the south side of the building. A truck would likely come in where they currently do through the existing access road on New Horizons Boulevard. They could make either a right turn, as indicated there, into our loading dock, and then back into a stall from there. And then they can leave through one of the 2 curb cuts that are on that island and go back out the way they came in. A truck could also continue to keep going around that loop to the back of the building, or if it suits them, they could also come in through the new access drive aisle that we would be paving in. And depending on which direction they come in, they would then back into the loading dock and then could leave through either of the new access drive we're putting in or go back out through the existing one.
Do you believe that there is enough space for trucks to move comfortably in these areas and side roads as well?
Yes. That was one of the committee's comments was around expanding the new access drive aisle we're putting in, which we did in order to give trucks enough room. And then I can probably have TJ or Ethan speak more about truck turns, but we've done a truck turn analysis and are comfortable with the radiuses that are there on site.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead. First. Frank?
Thank you. Also, you mentioned the land bank, that you would wait to see what the tenants do before you touch those. As far as the backing in and putting in the loading docks, you're going to do that regardless of whether you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 tenants?
We'll do that speculatively, yes. Will we actually cut in the 28 dock doors that are shown right there day one? I don't know about that, but we'll want to create the loading areas from day one. We think that tenants will have use of that space, whether they need all the dock doors or not. And that's also something, part of the reason we're doing this is so that the building shows really well to tenants. It's easy for a tenant walking the building to picture cutting in a dock door. It's a bit more difficult to visualize having a loading dock put in. So we will be putting in those dock wells speculatively, yes.
Thank you.
Dan?
So the current tenant left, the anticipated tenants, are you going to be putting in any edge of docks or dock levelers from the get-go?
Yes, we will be. Wherever we put in a dock position, we'll be putting in a 40,000-pound mechanical dock leveler.
Are they going to be oil-based, or are they going to have a hydraulic fluid, or is it going to be more of an electronic?
They'll be mechanical,
Okay.
yeah.
So mechanical means oil-based?
They have hydraulics.
Hydraulic, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? So I do have a question. So what type of tenants do you anticipate attracting?
Likely warehouse and distribution type tenants. We are fortunate that our building has a lot of power coming to it. We have about 10,000 of amps coming to our building from the former manufacturing use. So in the event that there is a manufacturing user, we think we'd be a really good fit for them. With that said, there aren't a lot of manufacturing users out in the market right now. Most of the tenants looking for space in the area of our building are warehouse and distribution type tenants. So the way we view our space is, likely a tenant coming in, putting in some racking in their warehouse area, and then using it for distribution.
Yeah, one of my pet peeves is we're turning places like Computer Associates into warehouses,
Yeah,
and places like Newsday into warehouses.
yeah.
I like what this is because I know I'm very familiar. Look, I remember when this was Zahn's Airport. But at the time, of course, the whole intention of the town board at that time was to create a first-class industrial park,
Yeah,
which if you look around this part of Long Island, there really aren't many, and there certainly weren't many back then.
yeah.
So is this the first building in the New Horizons area that's being subdivided like this? Or is that a question for your attorney?
I don't know. Do you know?
That's okay. You can hold that till later. Hold that question. Okay. Go ahead.
Depending on how many tenants you get, what's the anticipation of how you're going to be dividing the spaces with material? Is it going to be some type of block? Is it going to be drywall? What's going to be that?
It would likely be a drywall, demising drywall wall that would be fire rated.
And you're going to put some type of metal plating so they don't drive the forklifts in?
If it's that kind of tenant, then we might have to go up to block wall, yes. But our base assumption that we're making is drywall.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, just brought to my attention that there are 2 compactors. Are they dedicated to a left and right side, or is that just the 2 ends of the property? They're in the middle of the bays there. Yep.
I believe, yeah, so that would be dedicated to the north and south
And
halves
possibly,
of the building.
and possibly shared by 2 tenants.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And we have some flexibility in our site plan where if a tenant has a specific need, we could probably add one in should that need arise.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if I could, thank you, Ryan. I just wanted to pick up on the point that was made. So with regard to this industrial park in particular, you're right, Mr. Chairman. There's a lot of landscaping and grassy area in front. The idea at the time was to make this not look like an industrial park, as you see elsewhere, like, kind of reminds me a lot of the Hot Park Industrial Association, where they have, a large front yard area. As far as subdivision, I'm not aware of any other of the properties being subdivided, but the town board saw fit that for this type of subdivision, multiple tenants, that they wanted to regulate that. So that's why we have to go to the town board. It's actually written to the code that way, which I thought was interesting. I've never seen that before. And the last thing I just point out that JKN Aerospace Monitor, they've already vacated, and I was told that they moved out of state. So as Ryan indicated, just to amplify, the fact is that what we've found from our vantage point is that it's much easier for owners to rent out spaces when they're subdivided, gives them more flexibility as opposed to trying to find a tenant for a 200,000 square foot space. So this is very much a practical need as it is, anything else. So, all right, with that, TJ? TJ Wilkinson from Bowler.
All right. Sir, TJ, please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. TJ Wilkinson is civil engineer for the project with Bowler, 275 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, New York.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please proceed.
Yeah, so I'm just going to elaborate on some of the site upgrades that Mr. Brown and Mr. Hurd have discussed. So I just would like to add that at the southern loading area that we are proposing, we understand that, that's a little bit closer to New Horizons Boulevard than the existing northern loading area. So we are proposing a screen wall that you can see on the plan that extends off of the face of the building and covers both the drive aisle and the loading docks in that area. That wall is going to match the building facade and will be planted with arborvitaes in front as well to help with that screening from New Horizons Boulevard. As Mr. Hurd mentioned, the existing southern driveway that serves the site now will remain, but you could see as well with the hatching on the plan that we are reconstructing the majority of that ring road, bringing that up to current standard with heavy-duty asphalt to be able to handle our truckloads. I'd also like to add on the northern driveway that we're currently adding. We have revised the width of that to be 30 feet throughout from New Horizons Boulevard to the loading bays in the back. So we feel very confident about our truck maneuvers there. And I just want to add as well that now has removed a dead end that existed at the northeast corner of the property. So in addition to being better, for tenants and end users of the property, we're much better now from an emergency vehicle access standpoint as well, having full circulation and not relying on dead ends.
If I could just ask, Matt, could you put this one up, the color landscape plan, so the board can see it?
Okay, that'd be great, thank you.
Is it wall?
Oh, thank you. You have hard copies.
Yes.
Sorry.
Do you want me to wait? Okay.
Please proceed.
97 parking spaces that have been mentioned are proposed at the southeast building corner, which is where we anticipate one tenant's office would be, and we've got an additional 183 spread throughout the site for a total of up to 280, depending on the tenancies that we achieve. They're spread at the 4 building corners pretty equally on those east and west building walls outside of the loading areas so that if tenant entrances are added there, we're able to accommodate that. The existing landscaping along New Horizons Boulevard will be supplemented, including an additional 7-foot-high berm at the southeast corner where the building is closest to the curve of New Horizons Boulevard. That berm will be planted with arborvitaes, and there's also an additional berm just south of that that will be filled in with shrubs and arborvitaes as well. Given the curved geometry of the site frontage, the site is screened even today pretty nicely from New Horizons Boulevard. I know code requires, although we're seeking a front yard parking setback, code requires a 45-foot landscape buffer in the front yard. We have a minimum of 70 feet, and it's greater in most places. That 70 feet occurs right at the inflection of the curve on the road frontage. In addition to additional landscaping on the site's frontage, mature vegetation along the side and rear yards will also remain, and we will also be planting additional trees along the perimeter of the site's ring road. We'll also be proposing grading and drainage improvements throughout the site to ensure stormwater is properly collected. Dry wells will be added to increase the site's drainage capacity. The 3 on-site fire hydrants that currently exist will be relocated as required to ensure that the new site layout complies with fire code. The building will remain connected to county sewer infrastructure as it does now, and will have a provision for all 4 tenants to connect as well. And new pavement areas will be equipped with LED dark skies compliant lighting. And that concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions the board may have.
Are there any questions? Jerry?
I'm not sure who this question is for. It might be for the board. Who decides when and if and how many stalls have to be created from the land bank stalls as you change tenants?
You want to take that? Sure.
So planning department would advise us, and then it would come back in front of the board for an amended site plan application. But we could also, in the event that we have a new tenant coming, we could notify the town and proceed that way.
But is that a requirement? As you change tenants?
Is that a condition?
Those are conditions 19 and 20.
Yeah.
Are raised, so 20 states, infill of additional tenant spaces shall warrant the build out of land bank parking in the appropriate location for such tenant spaces as determined by the Town of Babylon Commissioner of Planning.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Sorry, I would also just like to add to that quickly as well.
We have
that
another question. Finish your thought.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
No problem. That planning has asked that we show what the construction of those land bank spaces would actually look like as well from a grading and drainage perspective. So there are provisions for those if they are to be built within our civil plans already that the planning department has.
Okay, Frank?
Yeah, you mentioned the hydrants. I just questioned, is the building sprinklered now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Batty cleanup, Mr. Ethan Chakosky.
Okay.
Ethan Chakosky.
So far, they've all done very well, so don't mess it up.
I hope not.
Okay, all right. Please state your name and address for the record.
Ethan Chakosky, TPD Engineering, 275 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, New York.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please proceed.
I will try not to be repetitive. As you said, they have done a really nice job presenting the site. So I'll just try and hit my key points in terms of traffic and parking. So as was mentioned, the existing user, GK&N Aerospace Monitor, more of a traditional manufacturing use, lots of office space, much of which is going to be removed as part of this application. We found in reviewing the Institute of Transportation Engineers published data on traffic generation that the new warehouse modern users would actually be a lower traffic generator than the traditional manufacturing use on the site, especially given that much of the office space is going to be removed with this application.
So why is that? I mean, aside from, why is there less traffic?
Compared to a manufacturing, it's really a lot more shift employees as opposed to distribution centers with lots of storage. You have less employees, more automation, and more truck distribution locally.
Good, I just wanted to get that into the record, so continue, please.
So the parking code requires 368 stalls, whereas we're providing 97 built and 280 total, including the land bank. When evaluating that ITE data mentioned earlier for parking demand, we find that the average user, if you were going to put the warehouse user for this site based on the spec, would be 76 stalls, which is more than accommodated by the proposed 97. And I'll also just add, in my experience with these types of developments, I'll kind of echo what Mr. Hurd said, is, these are really driven by tenant needs. The tenant is going to enter into a lease on this property. They're going to know what they need parking-wise. They're not going to want to, underpark for their, logistical reasons. But nonetheless, the data also shows that the 97 stars are more than, can more than accommodate the average user. We also wanted to consider a higher demand use. So we looked at the 85th percentile of the available parking demand data. This kind of gives us a view of a higher than average user for this type of facility. And when you consider that, we found a demand of 229 stalls, which is more than accommodated when you consider the land banked. So looking at both sides of it, based on the average user, there's more than enough stalls proposed to accommodate demand. And then even if we had sort of a higher demand user with the land banked, it's my professional opinion that there's sufficient parking available on the site. We also looked at the internal site operations, the truck routing, and site distances for the new driveway. Based on our review, it's more than adequate to handle the circulation of the trucks. I'm happy to answer any other questions the board may have.
Do the board members have any questions? I do have a question. You talked about your analysis of potential tenants. Let's just say you have something along the lines of a smaller Amazon or some other type of distribution company that comes in there and brings whatever they're going to be distributing to other parts of Long Island, where you have Amazon-type drivers pulling in the morning, and you have an awful lot of them that come in, and then you go about their way once they get whatever they're going to be delivering.
So I worked on a number of Amazon sites. Based on the layout of the site, it's really not accommodating towards an Amazon-type user. If a tenant like that would come in, they would likely request significant site plan changes that would require you to come back here, have spaces for van loading and that sort of thing. The site is really designed for a more traditional distribution user. Even if you look on the aerial here, there's the distribution center to the northeast that looks like maybe I think it's Pepsi. Not saying that would be the tenant in any sense, but more of a traditional local distribution with smaller trucks and a few larger deliveries.
Yeah, but a Pepsi is not distributing.
I don't know that they would be the user.
To individuals, they're distributing to soda distributors, in other words, beverage centers.
I shouldn't say that I shouldn't reference that other building. I'm sure Keith's kicking me. I can hear it. I can feel it.
You were doing fine.
But my larger point being, it's not designed for an Amazon-type use.
All right, but yeah, you get it. That is yes, they bottle, and then they distribute there to all of Long Island. All right, fair enough. Any other questions? Yeah, Frank?
Just looking at the existing now, so when you put in the road that loops around, and if it ends up getting split into 4 tenants, the land bank parking, even whether it was necessary or not, if I'm reading it right, it looks as though all of the parking is on one side of the building.
It's currently laid out for a single tenant.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I agree, and Ryan can speak more to
That's
this.
land
If dependent on what tenants they have and what divide they have, and what those tenants need, they may need to build some of those stalls, say in the northwest
Even
corner.
if the land banked is not necessary parking-wise, it still may be necessary in order to split the building up. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, I just wanted to point out, you can see from the diagram, the land bank, the land bank parking is really spread out. So we've added on the northeast corner, the northwest corner, and then you have that big area in front on the south side where the cursor is now. And then you also have the additional parking that's on the southeast corner there.
I understand that, but that's assuming you open up the land bank parking.
Right.
If they turn around and say you don't need the land bank parking, you may need it anyway just for access for your tenants, or not.
Perhaps. But that's why it's there. It's flexible, right? So.
Okay, thank you.
And if I could just go back about the Amazon question, the loading docks are designed for tractor trailer size, not for Sprinter vans. Okay.
Thank you.
Dan?
I have a quick question for you. So one of the covenants and restrictions is that no truck idling is permitted at any time. Is that going to be part of the lease and written into the lease for the tenants?
No truck idling?
Yeah, if we could say something like complying with all zoning codes and restrictions.
Okay, that's.
Okay, hold on, we have to get that on the record. Counsel, why don't you just get that on the record?
What he just said? The answer is yes.
And then with the anticipation, there's also outdoor storage of vehicles and trucks. So is there anticipation of having tenants that might have multiple tractor trailers that are dropped and then the trailer leaves, or?
Yeah, that whole area to the north, you can see on where the cursor is now, that's all for storage of trailers.
And on the south side.
Oh, sorry, and on the south side, across from the loading docks too. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? All right. Is there anybody else you have to present?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, only because we spent a lot of time and money on the architectural designs. Mike Musina is not here tonight from BLD, but if I could ask Mr. Esposito to just pull up.
Yeah,
So
thank you
this is-
very much. I'm glad you're doing that
Yeah,
because it's quite.
so this gives you a really good idea of what
Yeah.
3D sims of what it's going to look like post-construction. You know, it really is a handsome addition, and it's going to be a nice addition to the corner. And I think it was TJ that brought up, you know, we're on the inverse of the curve, so very little of the property is actually visible as you stand on the road. The road is 60 feet wide, by the way. It's for an industrial park. So you can see it there. And that also shows you, if Matt could go back to that a second. So you see the existing building there, and so all that's being removed, right? And it's just going to be a square box. And then back to the architectural drawings, you know, it's really going to be, you know, very handsome to hide all of the truck activity behind that screen wall with the plantings that's going to be in front of it. So it'll really, you know, enhance the entire property, make it more contemporary, you know, and give it a shot in the arm, so to speak.
Hold on, come back to that lot view.
That's the view, that street view? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the view on the other side.
Yeah,
of
that's when
that
you're
screen.
standing, looking north into the loading dock.
Okay,
And the next one, though, I think is the most appropriate one. It's the street view,
please.
right? So that's if you're standing there now on New Horizons and you're looking northwest, what you'll see. So it's just the corner of the building.
So that what we're seeing with those big mature trees are the existing trees?
They're there now, yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, good. There you go. Okay, Dan?
Sorry, I deal with, I manage industrial property, so every day. So is this going to be a air-conditioned warehouse, or is it just going to have some type of Modine heaters and heater, and then, you know, as you walk up, will it also have some type of air curtains at all the doors or things like that?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Hurd on that.
We're all going to come back up again. Your first question, will the warehouse be air-conditioned? Potentially. The warehouse is currently air-conditioned. With that said, the air conditioning units that are on there are well past their useful life. So we'll be removing those. Standard for tenants in a warehouse distribution like this is just to provide heat only. With that being said, we're starting to see a couple tenants request it more. It's going to be dependent on the tenant. To answer your question, I would say likely not going to be air conditioned and just heated and ventilated. But if a tenant has a specific requirement for it, we'd be happy to look into it and accommodate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just in conclusion, we respectfully request the board approve the site plan for the property. And on behalf of WP Carey and my team of experts, thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Council. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to address the board regarding this application? No? All right. Even though this is an informational hearing, I'm still required to close this hearing. Is that correct? Correct, Council? Okay, so I'm going to request a motion to close the hearing. Motion by Dan,
Motion?
second by Frank. All in favor? This informational hearing is now closed. Council, do I have to go through all this other stuff here that we typically have where council, where we're reserving a decision or anything like that?
Yes, because we're going to take up the maybe a resolution or decision later in the work session, but we still want to read that.
All right, fine, then let's do that. Okay, so the decision's been reserved for us to consider any of the testimony that we've just heard or any feedback or any open site plans. Okay, so the status of the application can be reviewed in person at the planning department or by phone or by the planningcommons.com. But as we heard from council, we will be taking up our recommendation to the town board during our work session. So thank you very much. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. You too. Thank you. Okay, here, take all this stuff. Take all this stuff. Take all this paper. It's wasted paper. Okay, we're now going to go to our work session. So our public hearing will, that's